So now that brings you to the new leads ad set page. So as we build these ads, it starts with the campaign, the ad campaign, and that's where you're selecting the objective, right? We talked about lead generation leads. Now we are at the ad set level where we focus on targeting or who you're going to put the ads in front of. So the first thing we want to do here is go ahead and name the ad set. Now it says new leads ad set. Obviously, the campaign objective is leads, but we're going to replace that with, I always do the beginning is the same. So I'll do like coaching masterclass with the group or business or whatever. And then we're going to do a bracket. Again, we're going to put in here where we're sending people for your school group. And then what you want to do is put in the targeting. You can see it's auto-filling there. The targeting of who you're going to put this in front of. The reason for that, and what I mean by that is just so that we're all clear, if there's a specific gender, age, location, that's what you would put in here. So for example, it could be like dads from 25 to 45 in the USA or some specific location, even more specific than that. The reason that we want to put the targeting in here is because at the ad set level, that's the biggest reason for this ad set level, because we are deciding here who we're putting this in front of. So if we're testing different ads and performance, we're also testing in our 3x3 strategy, the targeting. So we want to label the targeting in the ad set name so that we can easily track it and see which one is performing. And then ultimately, you're going to have 3 different ad sets that you'll be testing. For example, one I was just testing, just a comparison, was, like I said, the dads, the 25 to 45, I think it was, in the USA versus dads 25 to 45, obviously in the USA, but the top 10% of income zip codes, right? To see if that really made a difference, putting it in front of the top 10% zip codes. And basically what we found in that scenario was that the top 10% were slightly less expensive by a few pennies. But with that scenario, hey, if there's more likelihood that those people have money and could pay for coaching, then that makes so much sense. And then, so that's the naming. So you would not just type in targeting, you would type in your specific targeting. We're going to have other trainings on targeting and how you analyze that and how you do that. But let's go ahead and continue. So then you're optimizing for what specific conversion, where are you sending people? Now it's going to put it on instant form, which is why there is an error over here, verifying your changes, things like that. Now it's in Spanish because we're in the Caribbean. So don't worry about that. But we're going to switch this to website. If we're sending people to school, then we're sending them to the about page for that group, which means it's a website. It's not a lead form. It's not Messenger. It's not Instagram. It's not a call. It's not some other app. Now, school does have an app, but that's not even what we're talking about. Okay. You can see I can't even select that. All right. Website. And then we continue scrolling down to maximize number of conversions. Perfect. And then under pixel, we have not set up a pixel yet. This is a dummy account of mine. So this says the meta pixel is required to publish, set up your pixel, or switch to a different optimization, such as landing page views. Now, we don't want landing page views because you could do that here and switch to one of these other things. We don't want views. We want conversions. And basically what that is going to do is Meta and their algorithms, they're going to put it in front of people that are more likely to convert or register. Once we put the pixel in here, we'll select the conversion that we want to optimize for. So maximize number of conversions. What is the conversion? We're going to do complete registration. You can actually put the pixel, which is a data tracker, on your school group about page so that we can optimize for those completed registrations, right? So let's go ahead and click create pixel, and we're just going to name it, and you could keep it the same as whatever else, the group or whatever else you're doing, because basically you're optimizing the data and you're tracking data for the benefit of your group or your company. So Coaching Masterclass, create pixel. Okay. Enter website URL. Now enter your website URL and we'll let you know if you can connect your data using a partner, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So you could put your school group in here or just select, I don't have a website at this point. return to creating your ad. Okay. So now you can easily just go in. Now it says it's inactive. Check out the training that we put up regarding pixels and whatnot, but you have the ID and all that good stuff. Okay. So now you have that on, and then conversion event. We want to do complete registration. Okay. Now this is telling you set up conversions. Again, we're going to have trainings on that. But check. Okay. Cost per result, we just leave that. Dynamic creative, we leave that off. Basically, we know the strategies that work, and we want to make sure that the algorithms are not just creating different elements and images, headlines automatically. We want to leave that off. Okay. This is where you would set your budget. It automatically always puts it at 20, but we have trainings on that. The higher you put the budget, the faster money will obviously go, but the faster you can get results, the faster you can learn. However, each ad set, the ad set level is where you determine the budget. So if you're testing, just keep in mind, if overall you're like, I want to start overall $20 a day. But okay, if you put that on each ad set, that's $60 a day if you're running 3. Just keep that in mind. So if you say overall, like my budget right now personally means that I can only have a budget of $20 total, then you want to disperse that. If you're going to be testing 3 ad sets, you want to disperse that between the 3, but you can lower that. Just do daily budget. Don't even mess with this stuff here. Budget scheduling, don't worry about it. Audience controls. Okay. So what we want to do is go ahead when under advantage plus audience, we just want to switch to original, use original. And it will say that, oh, you can get 33% less by not doing that, by doing what we want you to do in the Advantage Plus and all that good stuff. Now, in some cases that can be true. There has been a lot of testing, and it's not always the best. If you have a strategy, to follow the strategy, because here's the thing, even though we don't want super expensive leads, at the same time, our number one goal is not cheap leads. We want quality and value, right? So we don't want the cheapest leads if there's no quality. And what sometimes happens is Meta will, to save you money, they'll put it in front of people that maybe they'll never convert. But, and I say convert from the standpoint of buy your coaching or join a paid mentorship or coaching group, but they'll join the free one, and Meta will put it in front of those types of people that are likely to complete registration. But if they're not your dream avatar, then they're never going to want to work with you anyway. So even though the lead cost may drop, like it's going to eat up your money anyway, and you're not going to convert. So we don't want to do that. Okay. But we want to go ahead and, this is where, you can add custom audiences and use save audiences and all the good stuff. We don't need to do any of that. But this is where you would edit the age, gender. And then here's a really cool thing. Again, this is not a training specific to targeting and how to go about that. We have other resources for that, but this is what we do with layering our targeting, basically narrowing it down more and more. Okay. So if, for example, I want to put this in front of men who have kids, for example, I can put it on like parents. There we go. Now I can either do that from a standpoint of demographic or, let's see, interests. So this is interest of a magazine. You can put it in front of demographics, meaning based on data, these are people that actually have kids, or you can do it interest because, and you may be wondering like, what's the reasoning for that? If you want to put it in front of a parent, and in this case, if we're doing men, then that means like dads. If I want to put it in front of dads, like I want to make sure that they have kids. Okay. And if that's like a value-based thing, you're trying to connect with like your niche, or maybe that's you, they will also remember if they're interested based upon things that they've liked or look at, know that may work as well. Okay. So many times we'll just use the interest based targeting. So if you're like, I want to put this in front of dads. Okay. And you can even say like specific age. So let's do 25. I've been using this as an example, 25 to 45. Okay. So men 25 to 45 interested in parenting or being a parent. Okay. So interested in being a dad or they are a dad. And then what we can do is define further and further. If you just type in here, like another interest, if I say leadership, okay, fields of study, interests. Okay. So if I do that, then what that is doing is putting it in front of men 25 to 45 who are interested in parenting or leadership. But instead, what I like to do is hit define further and then put in your other interests. Now this is taking a while. Caribbean internet. Okay. So then we do that. Now, the difference in that is that it's going to put it in front of men who are 25 to 45 interested in this and interested in that. See, and must also match. Okay. It's a big difference. Now, you may be thinking, yeah, but that's less people. Exactly. Because you don't need to get this in front of everybody. You basically want this to be around a million, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 million. But if you go like crazy above that, then it's like you're not niching down enough. You're not speaking to anyone enough. Okay. So we continue down here. You put in all your targeting and then see here, and then placements. Most of the time, we just leave that how it is. You can get more specific with it. And that would basically be here. You would click edit. And then if you wanted to do manual placements. So what are placements? That's basically you're saying, do you want to do Instagram and Facebook, one or the other? Do you want to do reels? Do you want to do stories? Do you want to do the main part of Facebook? See, here we go. So with manual placements, you can say, like I said, Facebook, Instagram, audience network, messenger. Do you want it in feeds? Do you want it in stories and reels, in-stream ads and videos, search results? So I definitely recommend, especially like I've never done this before, like just stick to Advantage Plus placements. It works well. Some of the stuff they do doesn't, but this really does. Okay. And then you have your ads set up, right? And now if you're testing other ad sets, then you would simply duplicate this. And you could do that by going up to the three buttons and just hit duplicate. And then it'll ask you, do you want it in the original campaign? You just say yes, because that literally means the same campaign. So if you wanted to duplicate, test another thing, then you would duplicate it, keep everything else the same, and you would just simply change the target, who you're putting in front of. It's as simple as that. So then the bottom, we hit next, and that's where you create the actual ads themselves.